Hi.
Welcome back. It's only been 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's not even been 2 whole minutes.
It's a good thing we're not recording video because, there's no real reason. I don't really give a shit. I just don't like recording video.
Same.
I'm a podcaster, not a vlogger.
Same. I don't like me on video. I look like a frump.
I got a fupa, but it's all over my body.
You're so lame. I'm Caitlin.
I'm Sarah.
This is Books, Booze,
And Besties.
minus the booze.
Do you know what fupa stands for?
No.
Front upper pussy area.
I didn't know that.
That's what it means.
No, I learned something new tonight.
That's why I always thought it was so funny when we had other people that used to be in our lives saying it all the time, because if they knew, they would definitely not say it because it has the word pussy in it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
Well, now you know.
My eyelash got stuck.
Basically means you got a fat cooch.
I do have a fat cooch. Anyway, moving on to Verity.
I bet Verity has a fupa.
Oh yeah, I pulled up though.
Oh,
You think? I bet she doesn't. Remember, her body's a temple.
She had 3 kids. I don't care what she says.
Twins.
Yeah, but she had them by C-section, so...
This book was so fucked up. Had you read it before this?
No, remember, this is my first time.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So the synopsis of Verity by Coho. Lowen Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Lowen arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night her family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents could devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue loving her.
Let's talk about that synopsis real quick.
Sentence.
It starts off by saying Lowen is on the brink of financial whatever it said.
Ruin?
Like, yeah, she's broke because her mom, but, like, Lowen does not give a shit. She does not care. Like, she wants a job, but she really does not give a shit.
Yeah.
So,
she was never like, I'm hard up. I'm going to have to go, like, go to fast food.
I mean, she literally at one point was like, man, I might have to get a day job. Like, she did not give a shit.
Like, she's from Kentucky.
It was not financial ruin. Like, it was literally, she's broke.
She was already broke. She had an eviction on her record.
Yeah, she had 3 eviction notices by the time she left her apartment.
She's like, I better start looking somewhere else.
Like, she literally did not give a shit. So she was not on the brink of financial ruin. Bitch was broke and didn't care.
Yeah. She was
like so
whatevskis.
lack of caring that she was going to turn down the job at first. Because she was like, oh, this is not for me. So, like, money was not the issue.
Yeah,
money was not the focus.
I mean, they were going to offer her $250,000, right?
Yeah.
Initially.
And then she fucking bargained for $500,000, but, like, still, she was like...
She was still like, me.
It's good money, and it's more than I've ever gotten paid, but, like, I'm not feeling it.
Publicity is definitely not worth the $500,000.
No.
And I'm like, do you know what I would do for $500,000?
Yes, we all know what you would do for $500,000.
Yes, it's dirty and demeaning, and I would for sure do it for $500,000.
I bet you'd do it for less.
Probably quarter of a mil.
$250,000.
$250,000. $250. Let's call it what it is. I'd do it for free.
And then the other part of that synopsis that kind of got me is it was like, Lowen only showed Jeremy the autobiography transcript. Yeah, the transcript.
The hell?
Because she was in love with him and wanted to sabotage his and Verity's future. She literally showed him the transcript because she was like, Verity's gonna kill us, or she's gonna kidnap Crew. It was like, yes, I have feelings for you, but I'm also fine with never telling you this.
Yeah, she wasn't gonna tell him. She wasn't trying to sabotage or work in her benefit.
She was only gonna show him.
He was making her leave.
She only showed him when she had literal solid proof that she wasn't imagining Verity moving this whole time. Let's
go back and talk a little bit about Verity fucking moving, because it creeped me out.
Okay. Yes, it creeped me out. The end. That's all I gotta say.
Really?
No.
Okay. That first... What are you doing?
I'm just trying to pick up the lid to my fucking bottle.
The first time... She's sitting outside and she says she can see, the office and stuff like that. Are you flipping me off on purpose?
I had something in my eye, dude. Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, and then she looks up and she's like staring at me. And she's like, so like in my head, I'm like, she's like this.
I mean, she kind of has to be because the nurse pointed her out towards the water. So she had to purposely look back to stare at Lowen.
Ooh, that gave me like full body chills.
Yeah, that was really creepy. And... So, like, it's never mentioned before that point that Verity can move her body sometimes on her own.
Yeah.
Like, very minimal. Like, maybe a little arm movement, maybe a little head movement. But they don't mention it until Lowen literally sees her turn her head away because she got caught staring at her.
Yeah.
Because Verity got caught staring at her. Like,
it just creeped me out so bad. Because I, like, you have these images in your head. And... who did you picture anybody as Verity?
Yeah, the girl from Gone Girl.
Oh, that's a good one. I pictured, have you ever seen Something Borrowed?
It sounds familiar.
With Kate Hudson?
Mm-hmm.
I pictured Kate Hudson from Something Borrowed because she reminds me of like the autobiography. That's who she reminds me of. She's like bougie as hell and thinks she's so amazing.
This just reminded me of Gone Girl because it's got the same psychotic energy from the female lead.
That's true.
Where it's like, I will do whatever I gotta do. I don't give a shit because I am a psychopath. So I don't have the feeling of regret.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
So that's who I imagined this whole time because I was like, damn.
Yeah. I just thought of Kate Hudson in Something Borrowed because she's so like, I'm better than everybody else. I'm so amazing, super narcissistic.
I just love Kate Hudson, especially in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, that I could never imagine her as like a narc. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You need to watch Something Borrowed because that's just her energy. Is in not, anything else, but when you read the autobiography, that straight up reminds me of Kate Hudson from Something Borrowed. It's very narcissistic, very self-absorbed, I walk on water type stuff. So that's who I pictured. But the Gone girl is good too. Jane from Pride and Prejudice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, so... That, and then when she's like, I can hear footsteps upstairs.
Like, how did Jeremy never fucking hear that?
Right?
How did Jeremy never accidentally catch Crew talking to Verity?
Like, yeah. The stuff that had to be going on and the things she had to be doing, like, there's no way. Like, how do you keep that up, especially when there's a nurse there?
Well, and that's why I feel like the letter that was written in the floorboard was written last minute because she knew that Lowen was catching on and that Verity was actually the psychopath the whole time, because you would literally have to be a psychopath to be able to commit to something like that for that long. Like, there's just no way, like, because, I have normal feelings. I have regrets. Like, I have things that are going to come in between me and success of doing what Verity did for those 3-6 months, however long it was.
Yeah, it had been a little while. But when she's like, I put the baby monitor up there, and then she looks and Verity's in the floor digging through the floorboards. It was like, how did like nobody see her do anything for like 6 months or however long it had been, 4 months.
Well, and like fucking Jeremy was like, yeah, I never sleep because I pretty much stay awake while the nurse is gone, because someone's got to take care of Verity. And so like, how did Verity have enough time to magically do her shit when you're asleep? Because it literally, she in the letter talked about going through the basement and rummaging around there, going up to the attic, going through her office, going through everything.
Yeah.
When Jeremy was either gone or asleep. And he never heard it, but Lowen hears her all the time.
Yeah.
And also, I was going to say, the only thing I can think of is that he tried to kill her. And so he was so in denial that she was going to wake up. Like he was like...
He tried to kill her in the car?
Yeah, like he was so convinced that like, like she's a vegetable. I don't have to care about this. That he was able to push those things out of his mind when he heard them. Because he was like, if she's really, fully conscious and back to the old Verity, I'm going to be in a big lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So he was probably in denial if he did hear those things because he's like, well, Verity can move a little bit, so it makes sense that she'd make noise.
Yeah.
And also, if she does, become fully aware again, then I'm probably going to prison.
Right. Because he, like, was fully like, she is not moving. She can't.
Well, and that's when he said that.
She's a vegetable.
Like, he said that. And then Lowen was like, I literally saw her looking at me. And he was like, well, she has some movement.
What? Like, what? Yeah, he was just, like, completely oblivious.
I honestly don't think he was oblivious. I think he was in denial. Like, I think because he had one kid left that he was not giving enough attention to. So if Crew said things like, Mommy, talk to me, makes sense. Because you're not there for him as much as you need to be. Because you're also taking care of your vegetable state wife. I don't know what the correct term is for that. I don't want to be offensive, but like she's literally, like in a vegetative state. So like obviously you're neglecting Crew, and so if he says things like that, it's probably a coping mechanism.
Right, exactly. And I loved it though when she's like, "You're a cunt." Like she's sitting in the living room. I'd have been totally creeped out though.
Well, I mean, that's why Verity pissed on herself though. She did it because it was like a big fuck you to Lo. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, you think you're getting Jeremy tonight? Well, now he's got to bathe me and dress me. So fuck you.
Yeah. And yeah, she's like, have you ever watched The Orphan?
Yes.
Where she holds the knife to the little boy's throat and she's like, you pissed yourself. That's what I thought of. But then she's like looking right at her and she's like, I'm gonna fuck him tonight. And then the door's locked. That was creepy as hell.
But they should have known better. Like Lowen, Jeremy was in denial, but Lowen should have known better. Like
I would have locked that door myself on the inside. Because I don't want that crazy bitch coming in.
Jeremy locked the door on the inside. It was
that just creeps me out that this veggie lady is just running around the house while they're just doing stuff, and that just freaks me the fuck out.
Well, then Jeremy literally breaks Lowen's window to get out of the house. So how the fuck does he get back in? Does he break a second window? And
I don't know.
They never talk about the bedroom window getting fixed. So like she just has a fucking broken window now.
I don't know.
So fucking weird, but like I never understood that part. Like how the fuck did he get back in the house?
Yeah, I don't know. That was so creepy to me though. So let's get to, like, the actual autobiography. It was totally messed up.
Well, and, like, in the letter, she was like, when I was grieving, I went back and I edited everything to, to match the trauma I put in there, the craziness. Bitch, do you know how long it would have taken to edit that? You wouldn't have got it done in one night. Like, you literally lied in this letter because Lowen figured you out and Jeremy was going to figure out the truth because of Lowen, and so you were like, better cover my ass.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% believe that she's the one, she actually did all of that, which is so sad.
Well, yeah, because the thing that got me, the thing that I was like, no, Verity was a psychopath this whole time, is even if she was like, yeah, I really did go back through and edit everything to make it look like I preferred Chasten over Harper and blah, blah, blah. There's still no mention of Harper until the girls are 3.
Right.
So you didn't just go back and edit out everything on Harper. You naturally didn't include anything in Harper, which means...
Yeah.
Say what you want. Fucking got him.
Yeah. No, she was definitely lying in that letter. Like, I fully believe that she did all of that. Like, and I hated, like, I have a 1-year-old. So the thought of her, like, plugging her ears and letting them cry all day.
The thought of her shoving her fingers down one of their throats until they choked, hoping it would die. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah. That obviously, that got me, but it was the...
that's the reason why Harper, was like fucking... I don't think she had Asperger's. I think she was cognitively delayed or something, because if she aspirated and had a lack of oxygen, and then it just got blamed on Asperger's, because no, nothing would have happened to her. It had to be from birth.
Right.
No, literally Harper's condition occurred because she aspirated and had a lack of oxygen to her brain for a little bit. So Verity literally caused her daughter to be delayed. Yeah.
I never thought about that. It never says that, but you're probably,
Like, I without a doubt do not believe it's Asperger's. I literally think Verity caused Harper's condition.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave herself a reason to be anti-Harper.
Yeah. And was it Chasten's the one that had the scar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From her trying to abort. Oh, that made me sick. The whole thing. It was really hard to read.
Well, and that alone tells you that it was fucking true, because the doctor was like, yeah, sometimes it happens. They get scars and stuff. But they were also like, that one's pretty big. That one's pretty deep.
Yeah. That's what it says. Like, that backs up the truth. And I'm like, oh, see, as a mother, and I know this is like taking a different, a different turn, was, I was relating in ways because I love seeing Steven as a father. Like, I love that, and that makes me so happy. So her being like, he loved our children more than me. Like, that's a thing with us. Like, I know that I'm fourth.
You would hope that, fourth.
Though. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to want.
3 helpless humans that you have to take care of.
Exactly. And, like, just the thought of her, like, being like, I plugged my ears and they cried all day. And then they were so tired at night from basically starving. And I
don't see how no one caught on early, though, because this is like the same thing with Heartbones. Like, those babies were malnourished. They were, because a normal baby eats like
every 2 to 3 hours.
So often. And if Jeremy's literally, and it literally said Jeremy worked late because of his job. So for like 10, 12 hours a day, you're feeding them once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, I get it. They're twins, so you could probably pass it off for a little bit. But at some point, they're not going to be growing the way they should be.
Yeah.
Which is also probably another reason why Harper had some things going on. Because, one, she's already aspirated, had a lack of oxygen, and now you're also malnourishing her body.
Yeah.
Because, she probably did not give Harper as much as she gave Chasten,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just awful. Like, reading the parts about the girls was just sad. I'm sure there were other huge things in there that she did that were bothersome. But then she got pregnant again. Like, I was like, I'm surprised she just didn't say that she miscarried, never got pregnant again.
Well, I think she was doing it to cover her ass because she was so, like, in over her head at that point. And, like, she was a man on a mission. And, like, it's a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like, you've already done it once. And Jeremy takes care of them. You do nothing. And it was easier this time because she was the full-time author. And Jeremy was a stay-at-home dad. So,
yeah. Who
cares if you have another kid? You had twins and you got your body back to pre-birth, so who cares?
Her simple. Like, mine's more like a bouncy house.
I mean, awesome. And then you have Jeremy, who literally tells Lowen at one point, he was like, yeah, I don't think I ever really knew Verity. Like, I loved the thought of us, and, you know, I loved her, but I don't think I was in love with her. Like, she wasn't the one. I just stuck around and made it work.
Yeah, and she's, like, so obsessed with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, crazy obsessed with him. Like, that made me curious, because it's like she's that obsessed with him and she's doing all of this because she's so obsessed with him, but then she is not cool, but she's not trying to keep them from having sex.
But then you find out that Jeremy already read the transcript, so, like, they're in a standoff. Like, he can go to jail for what he did to her, and she can go to jail for what he knows for Harper.
Yeah.
So, like, they're in a standoff. Like, he'll take care of her because he feels guilty and he's in denial.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not going to bring awareness to herself until she has the means to run and take Crew with her. And she's got to take Crew with her because he is a witness.
Yeah.
But I just thought of another thing that proves that she was actually psychotic the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy at one point says that he called Verity's parents to tell them about the car accident and Harper, and the dad was literally like, God punishes the wicked. So, like, even her own parents were like, no. Which, like, you know, obviously I'm not going to get into all that, but, like, if her dad was willing to say that, if he just found out his daughter was, like, unconscious and in a coma and stuff, then there's something going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's obviously had to have a history of behaviors. Like, those don't just pop up.
Mm-mm.
But
no, especially if he said the same thing about Harper, which means he literally guilty by association. That was Verity's child, so like, Verity had to have something go on in her past that her parents were well aware of and did not support.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, just the fact that she is carrying on the way she's doing of pretending to be a vegetable when she's not is psychopathic.
Yeah, because I think at one point even Lowen was like, I don't see how she does it. Because her leg was off the bed at one point and it stayed in that exact spot until she went back up there and moved it.
Yeah.
And she was literally like, well, maybe she is in a vegetative state because there's no way she could have kept her leg in the same spot. But then it's like, no, she really had the determination to do that.
Yeah.
And so she really had to, like, you have to be a psychopath. You have to be psychotic to be able to pull something off like that, because someone functioning at a normal emotional level, they can't do it. Like, they don't have the focus. They have regret. They have other emotions. Like, there's no way. As a psychotic person, you hyper-focus on your means to an end. What suits you. And that suited her. And so she was able to focus on it.
And she got lots of Jeremy's attention.
Yeah.
Until Lowen showed up.
Well, and then, like, who cares if I'm pissing on myself? My husband has to come clean me.
Yeah, and rub my body. In a weird, warped way. I think that's probably how she saw it.
Oh, for sure. That's why she pissed on herself when Lowen told her we were going to have sex tonight. Because her immediate response was to piss.
Gross. And
then Lowen was like, Jeremy had to take her upstairs. He had to bathe her, change her, give her medicine, and put her in bed.
Oh, yeah. And then the time before that when they're kissing and she opens her eyes and Verity's staring at her. Holy shit.
And then literally stomps off and Jeremy doesn't even hear it.
That gives me the willies. It just freaks me out. Like, this would have made a great movie.
It reminds me a lot of the book we read by Stephen King.
Misery?
Yeah. It's giving me Misery vibes.
Misery vibes. It was just, yeah, that part where she was like, and she's looking at me. Every time she was like caught looking at her, it just freaked me out.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that literally tells you that that's how Verity viewed, like, because at one point she was like, Jeremy, it was like, it was dehumanizing to have to do what I had to do, like pissing on myself and stuff. But then literally pissed on herself the second Lowen was like, yeah, we're going to have sex tonight.
Yeah.
It was like her way of saying, fuck you to Lowen. Mm-hmm. And maybe she thought that they wouldn't actually do it if she wore Jeremy out bathing her and stuff. And then they did anyways, because Jeremy did not give a fuck about Verity.
Yeah. He was like, Lowen's here. I haven't had sex in forever.
And
because before that, they hadn't had sex because of the deaths.
Yeah, so it had been 6 months since
Harper.
Chasten.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it was Chasten. 6 months later was Harper. Because it was 6 months to the day when she killed Harper.
Ugh, yeah. That was sad. I didn't like any of that. How do you kill your own kids? She's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She's a nut job.
Well, it's like that Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Oh, Shutter Island?
Mm-hmm. Where she literally kills her kids.
That movie was so jacked.
He was playing games.
Yeah, that movie, because that's on, like, that scene's on TikTok all the time.
But let's talk about the fact that Lowen literally takes this job because her publicist or whatever he is forces her into it, right? Like, she only does it because he forces her into it.
Yeah.
And then she's there for a while, and she's read most of this transcript, and she doesn't know if she can pull it off, and she's ready to leave, only for Jeremy to say, hey, I fucking lied to you. You're not here because of Verity. You're here because of me, because I liked you as an author. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, wow, Lowen literally had to break up with her last boyfriend because he liked her books as well and wanted her to be the character in her books, which is where I'm pretty sure Jeremy was going too until he got to meet Lowen, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think Jeremy actually cared about her.
Oh, he did. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I think in the beginning, when Jeremy requested her, it was in the same way that her manager or whatever sought her out because he liked her main character.
Yeah.
And hoped to get that from Lowen herself, and then it didn't work out. And I think that's where it was headed with Jeremy to start with, too, because he literally picked her based off that one book.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I see that. I see where you're going with that.
But also, she was like, oh my god, Jeremy loved my book. Someone, like, appreciates me. I would have been like, the fuck, Jeremy? Why am I here?
Also, let's talk about how Lowen, that whole thing with her sleepwalking was blown way out of proportion.
Oh, how her mom literally was like, you're not my child because you broke your arm.
You're the devil's spawn.
Because she literally
walking around at night.
Fell off a porch and broke her wrist.
Yeah. She just stood there. But I was like, I kept waiting for something really big to come out of that because the way she, alluded to it was so awful. And I was just like.
Which, like, I'm sure for a child, for young her, it was traumatic for your mom.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that was really stupid for that to be what Coho picked for that. Like, put some trauma in there. Like, her mom was just nuts, But
then she had to take care of her mom when her mom was sick.
Which just makes zero sense, because if your mom wanted to be as far away from you as possible, why would she request that you take care of her, get a different apartment just to take care of her?
Yeah. What a total asshole.
For her to have zero money and actually in debt that you now have to take over.
Yeah, you have debt and now your credit's ruined because you have an eviction on your report, and just because your mom wanted her own cozy room to die in. I'm like, bitch, you didn't go to a nursing home or hospice.
I mean, like, for real, like, you didn't want to be my mom after I broke my wrist, so why would I literally wipe your ass for you?
Yeah, you didn't want to do anything for me because I was a sleepwalker.
I mean, like, the worst she did was fall and break her wrist. Which, like, I guess the part where she got back up and went to bed freaked her mom out, but still, like, Lowen's point of view, I get why she was traumatized by it, because, I mean, like, you're a kid, that would traumatize you.
Yeah.
But her mom, for that to be what sets her mom off, that was, like, really stupid. That was a stupid part of the story.
Yeah. Her mom's like, oh my god, you're like the devil's spawn.
How could you do that? You're so creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. I hated that. The way she just acted, you would have thought she would have, like, murdered their dog.
I mean, she literally told Jeremy, and Jeremy was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like,
that's exactly my thoughts when she told him. 2
children that are dead and a wife that's in a vegetative state, and you broke your wrist one time? That's it?
Yeah. I like, though, that he is like, I think I need to know more because I do have a son living here. And then she tells him, and he's like, oh, okay.
Like, his words were literally, that's it?
Yeah.
I mean, they start off seeing a guy get killed together, and they never talk about that again.
Yeah.
That's really fucking messed up. They watch his head get smushed by a tire.
She has blood on her. And then she's, like, totally fine. And then she gets offered the job, like, money of a lifetime. And she's like, me. Maybe. We'll see.
Also, another big coincidence, which Coho tried to explain this one away by saying, oh, we were going to the same meeting, so I guess it makes sense that we met there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, even though you were showing up early because your person thinks you're always late, so Jeremy magically was also showing up that early to the same meeting? And then you all coincidentally...
Oh, yeah, because he lied and said it was at 9 instead of 9:30.
Yeah, because Lowen's always late. So Jeremy was also showing up that early, and you also happened to be standing next to each other, and you happened to be the one he came to check on, or he happened to be the one that checked on you, and then he gave you a shirt, and you literally undressed in front of him in the bathroom.
He had to know what she looked like if her author picture was on the back of her book.
I know. That's why I was...
And she has no self-confidence whatsoever.
Well, and that's why I went back to I feel like this started out the same way her and her previous boyfriend did, and that Jeremy liked her character and sought her out.
That's true.
Because too many coincidences and, like...
Lots of parallels.
You read one of her books that didn't really make it. I mean, it did in a sense, but, like, not really. And then you want her to come live in your house and keep asking her to stay longer. Yeah. And she wears your shirt one time, which is creepy.
Yeah.
But then you also see her wear your shirt and you're like, I'm going to have sex with you.
In my bed.
Okay.
My wedding
That's
bed.
another thing. The teeth marks on the fucking headboard. One, no one does that, okay?
And that would hurt your teeth. And
that's not going to work for what they were saying it was there for, to keep Verity quiet and then to keep Lowen quiet during sex. That's not how that works. That's not going to happen. And two, why would Jeremy be like, yeah, I want you to sleep in the bed where my wife's teeth marks are in the headboard?
Yeah, that's weird. And the fact, and then Lowen did it in the same spot. Like, she tried to put her mouth over top and do the same thing. And I was like, that's too much. Mm-hmm. You're trying too hard now. Just please stop. I didn't like that.
Well, and I think that's so ironic, too, because she, like the Jeremy she read in Verity's autobiography, but didn't like it when X wanted her to be the character from her book. Mm-hmm. But you're going to sit there and say Verity's crazy. She's a crazy person and she's faking everything right now. But Jeremy's going to be exactly like he was in this autobiography.
Mm-hmm. Naughty.
Too many things.
Yeah.
Too many
Could
things.
you imagine, though, like, seeing, like, reading all of this, like, sex stuff about this guy, and then he's in front of you being, like, perfect, and you're like, well, I already know he's excellent in the sack. So it's like, no wonder she was, like, on the prowl.
I mean, like, I know. I kind of think that's part of the reason why she even went for it, because she got to read the secret parts of him. Because at first she was like, yeah, he's attractive, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And then she started reading this autobiography, and then she's like, huh, maybe.
If he's going to make me want to bite the headboard because his tongue's so good. But still, though, that hurts my teeth thinking about biting a headboard. Like, I feel like I would lose, like, a tooth.
Also, the fact that Jeremy had already read the transcript and faked it when Lowen gave it to him pissed me off.
Yeah. That's true. Which,
I mean, I kind of would fake it too, because then technically...
he's implicated.
Well, technically Lowen would... Unless somehow, by some miracle, like a letter in the floorboard, she never would have known that Jeremy is the reason why Verity had her car accident. Mm-hmm. And so, play dumb, and it looks like you're innocent in all this because you didn't want Lowen to find out you tried to kill your wife.
Yeah.
But then she also helped you kill your wife, so why does it matter?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that he actually knew. I'm not sure I believe that.
Maybe she wrote it in the letter because...
she's just trying to make him out to be some kind of bad guy.
Well, it makes sense, too, because you know what? I just realized something.
What?
Lowen put the baby monitor in Verity's room. Mm-hmm. And she's literally like, if Verity kept her eyes closed, then she wouldn't have known what I was doing. Like, she wouldn't have known. But if she saw me, she knows, and I'll never see her do anything. But then Verity does it. So what if Verity knew the baby monitor was there? And what if she knew Lowen was watching her? And she planted the letter on purpose to fuck with Lowen.
Yeah.
It was never about Jeremy. It was literally to fuck with Lowen because there was a chance that Lowen was gonna, quote unquote, win.
Yeah.
So it was a plant to fuck with Lowen.
Yeah.
Because it got written the night that Lowen and Jeremy had sex for the first time.
Mm-hmm. She knew they were down there knocking boots. So
and there's just no...
She could have done whatever while they were locked in there.
Well, there's just no way that she didn't know about the baby monitor. Like, you're not going to listen to someone come into your room and do stuff and then just not know it's there.
Yeah, she had to have known. Yeah, you're probably right. She did all that on purpose. Because I'm not convinced that Jeremy didn't know. Or Jeremy knew. And had read the transcript.
So maybe he didn't. Maybe he wasn't responsible for her car accident either. Maybe that was another thing that she had written into the letter to fuck with Lowen.
I think so too. Because he would have had some injuries.
Well, yeah, it just doesn't make... Because she literally in the letter said that he moved her from the passenger seat to the driver's seat and left. Mm-hmm.
If she ran straight into a tree.
And he said, or she said in the letter, he took my seatbelt off and that's, the way he was hoping it would kill me. But he still would have been in the same car accident, even with the seatbelt on. Yeah. And without a seatbelt on, she would have went through the windshield at some point. So... Yeah. The hole in the windshield would have been on the wrong side, and if there was no hole in the windshield, that doesn't make any sense, period.
Yeah, I don't believe.
So now that I'm thinking about it, I think that the letter was a plant for Lowen specifically.
Yes, I agree.
Which just has completely convinced me that
Jeremy knew nothing.
Jeremy knew nothing, and Verity was 100% without a doubt psychotic.
But just throwing this out there, even if he did know, I don't blame him for wanting to kill her. She murdered their child.
I mean, I don't blame him either. I'm not saying that.
Attempted to murder.
I was just trying to rationalize why he wouldn't have told Lowen. But now it makes sense because he probably never read the transcript.
Right. Yeah. I don't blame him if he did. Because she legit attempted murder on their infant. And then actually did murder her when she was... 8?
And then made their youngest child witness her murder.
Yeah.
And literally told him beforehand, hold your breath.
Yeah. Idiot.
Yeah, no, I'm in the bonus chapter. It probably says something in there. Lowen probably comes to the conclusion herself. It's probably like, you know what? I bet Verity knew I saw her on that baby monitor.
You'll have to read it and tell me what it says.
I read 2 pages. And the first 2 pages literally just talk about her and Jeremy having their baby. It's a girl named Nova.
Oh, okay.
And then she's talking about how when you have a baby, your entire life changes and you're dedicated to that baby. And then she literally says, so... She was literally like, so I without a doubt believe that Verity did all of the things in the autobiography. She was like, because there are no way you could write the things she did if you actually cared about your kids the way I do about Nova.
Yeah.
So she was like, I don't believe that.
Her and Jeremy married. I loved them together. You probably maybe need to read more.
Yeah, I didn't make it.
It's probably deeper in.
I just read the first 2 pages and it literally just talks about them moving, and the baby's 3 months old. Its name is Nova, and then Crew's doing good. But the bonus chapter is like 20 pages long, and I was at the bookstore, and I wasn't going to stand there that long. So I just read the first 2 pages, and all I had needed to read was the part where she was like, I believe that everything Verity wrote in the autobiography had to be somewhat true, because there's no way you could write like that unless you actually felt that way.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know what you read when you read it. Mm-hmm. Or let me borrow it and I'll read it.
But I'm sure there's some conclusion.
Yeah, probably. Or it leaves you with more questions.
Probably both, but I'm sure Lowen comes... Because she was pretty good in the book with coming up with, like... With deducing down to the truth.
Could you... Oh, my gosh. I just keep getting creeped out by the staring. Could you imagine opening your eyes after kissing somebody and, like, this crazy lady standing behind you guys?
I mean, imagine you have your titties out on her couch under her husband, and she's staring at you with a knife in one hand, right? She had the knife in one hand, and she balled her other hand up into a fist.
I don't remember her having the knife.
Oh, maybe it was just...
Jesus Christ.
Maybe she just had...
I don't think she had the knife there.
But she had two fists. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
But she had a knife, so she could have.
Jesus.
If she wanted, she could have.
That's so creepy.
And Jeremy, has hearing difficulties. So she probably could have killed them.
She's probably like... Her eyes wide, and she looks all weird because she hasn't been, eating normally. She
eats mashed potatoes and applesauce.
Yikes. But that's how she keeps her temple of a body, is by not eating, because she's not exercising.
She's exercising them eyes.
It creeps me out. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. That would have been a good movie, though. Again, I say that because it would have been creepy as fuck. I mean, it was creepy as a book.
I mean, for real, though, because, just the first time she's caught staring. And then there's the window scene.
Gives me the willies.
Where she thinks she saw someone in the window, and then the curtain's moving, but then the fan is magically on and pointed towards the window when she goes up there, and the TV's off. Even though the nurse put it on. Yeah. And then there's Crew saying that his mom told him this. And then there's another time where Crew says something about his mom. Oh, his drawings. And then there's all these things. And then you physically see her.
And Jeremy's like, nah.
Jeremy's in denial, so you kind of forget about it. And then you get locked in your room. And then Jeremy's also in denial about that and thinks a, little 6-year-old boy can magically lock the door.
Or it did it when you hit it,
slam the door, because you're slamming the door to wake your 6-year-old boy and vegetative wife up. And then you finally read the transcript and kill your wife.
Yeah. And there's Verity in a nutshell.
Oh, come on. Jesus Christ.
I liked it.
I did too. No, I'd say November 9th is my fave. And then it ends with, Verity, then it ends with us. Then it starts with us, and then Heartbones.
Oh gosh. So it ends with us. Verity. November 9. It starts with us. Ugly Love. And Heartbones. Did I leave any out?
No, but there is another Coho book I want to read eventually.
What is it?
It's called Confess.
I've seen that at the bookstore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to read it.
Maybe, I know.
In January.
I actually read the synopsis for that book, and it sounded pretty good, so...
Yeah, I'm down.
I don't read synopsis.
Synopses. I'm down. I would give Verity a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, for sure, because even in the dull moments, you had the transcript, or you had Verity popping up out of nowhere.
It wasn't misery where you were miserable.
There were no boring parts. You either had sex, a transcript, or Verity being
something creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Or Jeremy and Lowen.
Yeah, that's why I said
building.
Sex.
Oh, okay. Well, they were building a connection.
They made sex eyes.
They made the sex.
Clearly, they have Nova.
True.
Okay, I will say the one time they had sex, though, when Lowen's like, I don't want any of his semen to seep out. So she slept on a pillow. That
was weird.
She was getting a little crazy herself there. Biting the headboard and then doing that with the pillow. It's almost like I said with the freaking autobiography where she wanted it to be exactly like the autobiography, even though she got pissed when that happened to her before.
Yeah. That was weird, yes. Her being like, I propped myself up, so
none of it would seep out.
Yeah, gross. Thomas, you're so loud tonight. Yeah, that was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah, biting the headboard and then doing that. It's like she literally, and like, hopefully, after they've moved and had a baby and stuff, she's calmed down or tamed up or whatever.
That Verity's dead.
But it was literally like she was trying to live out the way the autobiography would have been, because she was literally kind of playing a Verity role there.
That's what I was going to say. Like, she's trying to, like, be Verity or some kind of rendition of Verity or...
Which is clearly not what Jeremy wants.
Right.
Or he wouldn't have sought you out. And he wouldn't have literally told you that he loved his wife, but he wasn't in love with her.
And good for him for being, like, willing to kick Lowen to the curb when he thought she was crazy.
Yeah, no, like...
Yeah, he's like,
I feel like
my son's here, and you're losing your fucking mind.
I feel like Jeremy was the most unproblematic character.
I liked Jeremy.
The nurse was a little bit of a bitch.
Yeah, she was.
Jokes on her. It turns out your patient was actually a cunt.
She's like, I see what you two are doing. I see you looking at him with your sex size.
She was like judging them before they ever did anything. Like way back when Lowen was like, I'm not going to do anything with him because I would never do that.
Yeah, like I'm literally just here to do research for this book. And the nurse is like, I see you with your sex size.
Mm-hmm. Little judgmental hoe.
Yeah. And it's like, actually, I'm working, you whore. Anyway.
I'm working, you're working. Let's get our jobs done, bitch.
Yeah. I'm trying to get out of here.
Oh, also, one last thing. I love how it just magically, anytime she was going to leave and her money was supposed to be in her account, it wasn't there. It was never there.
Jeremy's like, withhold that a little longer.
It was literally like, my money should be in there tomorrow. Man, I got to stay another week. My money should be in there tomorrow. Man, I got to stay another week.
And then I got that evict notice.
And then she's like, you know what? I think I got enough money to stay at a hotel. I'm just going to leave. And the Jeremy's like, no, I want you to stay.
I want you to stay so we can bang.
While my wife listens.
Yeah. Ooh, that's creepy. Anyway, so yeah, that was Verity. I liked it.
I did too.
Good deal. So, upcoming books, we're going to do Regretting You. Oh, no. What? Fuck? Who?
You mean 'Tis the Season for Revenge?
Where the hell did Regretting You come from?
That's another
Is that a Coho book?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just kidding. I had a stroke. Forgive me.
'Tis the Season for Revenge.
I don't know who that's by.
I don't either. It doesn't matter. You don't want to read
it. She just gave away everything I needed to know.
No, I'm just kidding. I can look it up.
Who's it? Yeah, who's it by? Oh, wait. No. Where'd it be? Oh, there it is. Morgan Elizabeth.
Morgan Wallen. And then our next book after that is Where the Dead Go to Die. And it's got 2 authors. Aaron Dries.
It's short as hell, though. That's weird.
And Mark Allen Gunnels.
It's only 217 pages.
You know what they say, less than 300, and it's pretty sucky.
I know. I'm nervous. I'm a little bit in, not too far in. I
haven't started yet. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that's why I texted you earlier, and I was like, are we doing all the books?
No, because I haven't even started.
Well, that's good, because I was like, oh. At that point, I had read like 10 pages.
Yeah, I was like, no way, Jose. I barely finished the 3rd book.
Well, that's our next 2, and then we'll post our next 2 soon, because we're trying to get our books done before we go on vacation. Woot woot. I'm so excited.
Are you?
I am. 12 days and 1 hour.
Excuse me, 12 days, 1 hour, and 16 and a half minutes.
Yay! When we wake up, it'll be 11 days and 12 hours and blah, blah, blah.
11 days. That's so freaking crazy, dude.
I know.
For so long, it was like, man, we got like 6 months. We got like 8 months.
A year and a half.
We got so long, and now it's literally like, shit, I got to pack.
Like next week.
I need a fucking pack.
I know. It's crazy. I'm so excited. We've been planning this vacation to Universal Studios for, since last summer? Not this past summer, but like last summer.
Yeah, because we still worked at the same job. You were very pregnant.
We were like, we hope we're not on call.
Yeah. I mean, because you weren't on maternity leave yet. So it had to be at least the beginning of September. But I think
it was before that. I'm pretty sure we've been planning this vacation since like early last year. I'm pretty sure it was like a year and a half.
A year and a half sounds right.
Yeah.
I just remember you being pregnant because you literally said if we go next December, then the baby will be at least a year old.
And here she is in the flesh. Cute as a fucking button.
What's a fucking button?
I don't know. That's what my baby looks like. She's cuter than that.
She's cuter than a fucking button.
She's so cute. Anyway. Yeah, so we'll be on vacation the last week of the year. Riding rides.
Liddy
drinking
titty.
Butter beer. Liddy titty on adult day. It's going to be great.
One of us is going to vom.
Vom.
Oh my God. Roller coaster. I was going to say, what if it's on a fucking roller coaster?
Vodka shots. Bleh.
Vodka shots.
I can't be doing no vodka shots before we get on like the Hulk. I'll die.
Well, there's, what is it? The Red Rocket where it just fucking goes super fast and loops and loops and loops and you play loud music in your ears?
Is that Red Rocket?
It's something like that. That's Thomas's favorite.
What is that called? I'll look it up in a little bit. But
yeah, that's Thomas's favorite.
One. That's a good one.
Imagine being drunk on that.
Woo! And then you puke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll have to be careful. Or like on the Spider-Man ride.
Oh my God. And didn't they like
it's like 3D too.
They like revamped. So it's Transformers. They revamped Hulk. So like it's even more intense than it was before.
We went there in 2019. So I don't know what all's been done. I hope my lashes don't fly off on one of these.
Oh my God. It's a good. Are you sure you don't want to wait till you get back? I think they updated the Hulk after you guys went because I vaguely remember Robbie saying like it was getting worked on when he went like a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever he went.
Yeah. And then we've got Hagrid's.
Yeah, there's a new Harry Potter ride, right?
Yeah, we haven't rode that one.
Thomas and I haven't been since 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm. We went in 2019. We went in October of 2019.
I think it was 2018 when we went. So it's freaking been like almost 5 years. It's been 4.5 since he and I went.
That's awesome. It's going to be so much fun. Anyway, so we'll post the next 2 books in a couple days. That way we'll finish out the year strong.
Crispy.
Yeah. That's all I've got.
That's all I got.
All right.
We will catch you next chapter, smuts.
Peace.